You can now access your Screenfeed content from directly within the Signagelive platform. And today we're going to dive right into this, see how it works, and I'm going to talk to you all about this Signagelive and Screenfeed integration. So for those who aren't already familiar, Screenfeed offers a library of high quality and dynamic digital signage content. This content is fully customizable and it comes in the form of social media, news, weather, sports feeds, data dashboards, and Screenfeed's powerful Connect tool. There are tons of videos out there about Screenfeed Connect, but to quickly summarize what this is, it allows you to turn data into dynamic digital signage content. You can build apps without code, and you can pull data from sources such as Google Sheets and more. So we've been working side by side with Screenfeed for a few years now, and as of this year, we announced that you could purchase Screenfeed products through Signagelive. And now upon doing so, you'll be able to access that Screenfeed content within your Signagelive network. And this means that Signagelive customers can create truly engaging experiences from one convenient location, from the content creation to the delivery of said content to your Signagelive players. And it all begins with this brand new integration that we have directly within the Signagelive platform. So upon purchasing any Screenfeed products through Signagelive, you'll notice some changes within the Signagelive user interface, and I'm going to show you them today. Here I am in my Signagelive network now, and if I head up to the top left to the application switcher, you'll see I now have the option of switching to Screenfeed. In addition to this, if I head to the playlist creator and hit the add new content button in the top left here, you'll see I also get a Screenfeed button here. Clicking on that button in any of those areas will take you to the Screenfeed application within Signagelive. And upon accessing this application, you'll be taken to a brand new user interface exclusively for this Screenfeed and Signagelive integration. And the Screenfeed account that you actually access will be whatever one is paired with your Signagelive network. This is paired at the point of purchase when you purchase your products through Signagelive. And within this application, you can see we've got a bunch of filters running along the top, so we can easily access the types of content that we want to get access to quickly. So if I want some sports feeds and I've purchased some sports feeds, I can click on that sports filter and it will show me all of the sports feeds that I have available here. The same goes for any other filter that I've got here. I can go via news, social media, transportation, and so on. It's worth noting that the content that you have available in the Screenfeed application will depend on what bundles or what individual apps you have purchased through Signagelive. So if you've purchased the social media bundle only, you may find that you only see the social media content in this filter here. If you're interested in purchasing any Screenfeed content through Signagelive so that you can access this integration for yourself, you have the option of purchasing standalone apps. So if you just wanted to have LinkedIn, for example, you could just buy that app, or if you just wanted a weather app, you could purchase that individually, or you can buy the bundles which have collections of apps, such as the Essentials bundle, the social media bundle, and the Everything bundle. I'll put a link on screen that has some information about that, so feel free to get in touch if you do want to find out more about those packages. I can also filter by any apps that I've already used. So if I click the apps you're using button here, that's going to show me all of the apps that I've already accessed and created some feeds from. The best way to think about this is as follows. If I click on a filter, and then I click on an app that I want to use. So let's go on Sports Central here. Within whatever Screenfeed app I want to use, I have feeds that sit within that app. And that's what we're importing into Signagelive. So if I go ahead and create a feed here, that will immediately publish that content to my content library over in Signagelive. If I go over to Signagelive now and filter by recently added, you can see that we've got a brand new Sports Central feed that has now appeared here in our content library. What's also great is that I can make real-time changes to this feed, and these will be automatically reflected on that same asset within Signagelive. So to confirm, if I scroll down and hit customize this feed and make some changes to this feed, so let's untick some of these. Let's change this to a scoreboard and let's leave that as that is. So we've now made some changes to this feed, and if I now hit save changes, that will automatically apply those changes to that same asset that we saw in Signagelive. And this is one of the huge strengths of Screenfeed, is that you get access to these really professional looking presets that you can go in and customize as you see fit. If I go back to feed list here now, I will now get a list of all of the feeds that I've created for that particular app. In my case, we just have this one feed right now, and I can go ahead and rename this as well. So I'll call it Joe's Sports Feed and then hit enter. And now if I jump back over to Signagelive and hit refresh, we can now see that those changes have been automatically applied to that asset, including the renaming of the asset itself. Jumping back to the Screenfeed app now, I can of course create more feeds for this particular sports app if I want to. So again, I'll create another feed. And then if I go back to the list once that's finished publishing, I can now see that I've got 2 feeds within that Sports Central app. And this applies for any of the apps that you have access to within the Screenfeed application. You can jump between all of the different apps and content types, create multiple feeds, and it will automatically sync these over to Signagelive. The same applies for if I were to delete any of these feeds. If I delete any of these feeds, they will also be removed from Signagelive too. And now if I jump back over to Signagelive, once again, if I hit refresh, you can see the new Sports Central feed has now come up. And obviously we've got the Joe's Sports feed that I'd made earlier there. If I now go back to my content menu here and I go to apps that I'm using, any apps that I've created a feed for will appear under this filter here. Let's configure another app now. I'm gonna go down to Google Trends here. And as you can see, I've already got a Google Trends feed that I'd created previously. So what I'm gonna do is create a new feed down here. Head to customize this feed. Let's show trends for the United Kingdom. Let's make some tweaks to this. I'll put the animation to flip. Let's display 2x2 grid and let's go change the color like so. I can add custom colors down here if I want to as well, and I can change the font to match my brand. And of course I can change the duration of the transition of these assets as well. I'm gonna leave that as it is for now. I can also pick the delivery method. I could do media RSS or I could do HTML. I'm gonna do media RSS in this case, and I'm gonna do this as 1920 by 1080. Again, you can fully customize this as you can see here. You can choose a resolution that suits your particular signage setup. In my case, I'm gonna leave this as it is, and I'm gonna hit create feed. Now I'm gonna go back to that feed list so I can rename this. I know that it's gonna be this bottom one here that I've just published, so I'm gonna click rename and change this to Joe's Google Trends. Press enter. Upon clicking on any of these apps and looking in the feeds list for that app, you also have the ability to quickly duplicate these apps should you wish to have multiple copies or make changes very quickly. This is great if you've customized the feed and you've got it to a point where you're really happy with it and you kind of want to make some very minor tweaks without having to start again. You can quickly duplicate the feed you've already done and then just make your changes accordingly. If you're like me and you like to make minute and finicky tweaks, this is a real time saver when it comes to customizing multiple feeds. So let's get this published to my player. So from within the content library here, I can very quickly drag and drop my Screenfeed content over into a playlist and immediately publish that to my players. So I'm gonna save this playlist, call it Joe Google Trends, hit save, go to content and then publish, and we're gonna publish this to my player behind me now. So I'm gonna publish this from right now. What do I wanna publish? My most recently added playlist, which is gonna be this Google Trends one. And then select my player behind me, which is gonna be my Sony player, which is this one here. Press OK. And with my player selected, I'm gonna hit publish to players. And soon I should see this content appear on this player behind me. And now you can see my Google Trends feed is now downloaded and is displaying on the screen behind me. Now where this is even more powerful is that if I now go into the Screenfeed application, if I now go into configure this feed, any changes I make to this feed will now be reflected on screen because this is already published to my player. This is a brilliant way of being able to update your content without having to go through the process of publishing it every time you make changes. So let's show this in action. I'm gonna go down here, I'm gonna click customize this feed. Let's now change this to a 4x4 grid. Let's change the color and we'll hit save again. And that's now going to download any of those changes to the player behind me whenever my player does a content check. And finally, after a few moments, you can see that my content has now appeared on screen. It's the changes that I made to my feed within the Screenfeed application. And we now have access to more Google Trends. And this same workflow would apply to any of the content that you've published from within Screenfeed. If you create the content in Screenfeed, publish that to your screen, and then edit that feed within the Screenfeed application, the changes are automatically detected by the asset in Signagelive, and it will automatically populate that on your screens. So in conclusion, we've now entered the next phase of the Signagelive and Screenfeed partnership. This marks a significant step forward in the way that we're going to be able to manage and deliver our digital signage content. In the modern world of digital signage, businesses are often up against sourcing their content or creating their content, managing it and delivering it to their screens. Well, now with this all-in-one solution, you have the ability to create all of that content within Screenfeed, easily populate it into Signagelive, and then publish it to your digital signage players. This makes things more simple, and as you saw, it's pretty quick too. And having access to this vast library of Screenfeed's premium content is going to make your content more engaging and your screens more eye-catching, gives you a ton of variety, and allows you to set it and forget it. A lot of these feeds are dynamic, so if you're using weather apps, for example, then it's going to react to however the weather is, and your screens are going to update accordingly. It's a great way of keeping your screens fresh. There's so much more to talk about, and I'm sure that we're going to cover it in many more videos to come, but I hope you enjoyed this overview of the Signagelive and Screenfeed integration video. If you have any more questions, please do get in touch and we'd be more than happy to answer them.